tried 50 sunscreens over 3 months to find the best sunscreens for every skin type so you don't have to.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. If you wanna take it back to the 50s, maybe
Hey friends, I'm Cathy and welcome back. This week we'll be talking about the top 5 sunscreens for dry or sensitive skin. This is part 3 of my sunscreen guide for this year, so if you have oily, acne-prone, combo, or balanced skin, or you're not quite sure what skin type you have, be sure to check out my other 2 videos up here. All of my sunscreen picks across all 3 videos are alcohol and fragrance free, so let's go. I've seen a lot of people talk about this sunscreen, and I love the Double Repair Moisturizer without SPF, so I had high expectations for this. It's one of the only La Roche-Posay sunscreens that is drying alcohol free. So does this live up to the hype? Yes, it does. Like the non-SPF version, this also has hydrating glycerin, soothing niacinamide, and ceramides to help support your skin moisture barrier. But the formula isn't the same because obviously there's sunscreen filters in here, so let's talk about that. This has an SPF of 30 with broad spectrum protection, and it's a fully chemical sunscreen, so it's going to dry clear with no white cast. It leaves a nice, soft focus, blurred out finish with a slight sheen. I normally wouldn't recommend chemical sunscreens for sensitive skin, but this one does not sensitize my skin at all, even when I'm using tretinoin at night. It's also non-comedogenic, and the base formulation is oil-free, so it would be great if you're acne-prone and you have skin that's on the drier side. But it's not the most moisturizing. That might be surprising to hear because it feels very hydrating, especially when you first apply it. It actually dries down with a more velvet finish when it's fully absorbed after 30 minutes or so. It'll be way easier if I just show you, so let's go see how it applies. First, we're gonna use the 3-finger method. The texture is quite runny. You can see it on my fingers there, that it feels kind of like a watery lotion. So it looks very white. And get my neck as well. It spreads super well, it absorbs really easily, and the smell of it is not too bad considering it is a chemical sunscreen. It doesn't sting at all when I apply it. It also doesn't settle into my eyebrow hair, but I like to rub it in just in case. I'm just gonna get my hairline up here, upper lip. You can start to see the formula really sheer out, and it just makes your skin look like it has a sheen to it, very glowy. It also has this nice blurring effect. There is no white cast to this, it's fully transparent, and it doesn't make you look greasy. You can also skip the primer because this already does that for you. This is best for you if you're looking for a sunscreen that has a nice hydrating texture and a soft focus blurring finish with no white cast. It's not the most moisturizing after it dries down though, as you guys just saw, so it's best if you're acne prone but also need something hydrating. Okay, so this is my 3rd tube of this in a year. It's amazing. It's one of the most sheer mineral sunscreens I've found, and I've seen it work for people with a much darker skin tone than me, and we love to see it. As a sunscreen, this is SPF 30 with broad spectrum protection and a PA+++ rating. It's got 14% non-nano zinc oxide acting against the active, giving you both UVA and UVB protection. As a fully mineral sunscreen, it's sensitive skin safe. It's also reef safe and cruelty free. It's got hydrating glycerin and squalane oil, a lightweight oil that's super moisturizing and helps lock in that hydration. Basically, it's going to be nice and moisturizing and great if you have dry skin. I love that this is super easy to spread and doesn't feel thick and pasty, but I can't lie. You do have to put in quite a bit of work to get it to sheer out, and it does take some time to dry down. But once it does dry down, it's very sheer and it just leaves a really nice sheen. So let's go see how it applies. 1, 2, 3. The texture is like a light lotion. See how runny it is? Usually when it's runny, that means it's super easy to apply, so let me just show you guys my 5 dots. Immediately, it feels really emollient and really luxurious. I think that's the only way I can really describe it. It's super easy to spread, and at first, because it is a mineral sunscreen, I look like a ghost, but you just kind of need to spend some time to work it in. It feels super moisturizing. It doesn't sting at all. It also works really well under makeup. This is gonna take some time, you guys. It does settle a little bit into your facial hair. You just have to make sure that you work into those areas like my hairline and my eyebrows. And if you have stubble or beard, then you definitely want to go over those areas so you don't have any white residue. Why am I rubbing this area as if I have a beard? I think we are almost there. As you guys can see, it has sheared out a lot, but it did take quite a long time for me to work all of the sunscreen into my skin. Normally this doesn't really leave that much of a white cast on me, but I am seeing a little hint of it. It might be because I have these two bright lights in front of me. So just to be on the safe side, I think it would be best if you have fair or light to medium skin tone. I really love how this feels after it dries down. My skin just feels so soft. It just feels like I'm not wearing anything at all. This can also double as a moisturizer. Since I have combo skin, that's kind of how I like to use it. I just love the finish of it. It just has this really nice, healthy glow to it. So this is best for you if you've got dry skin or sensitive skin and you're looking for a sheer mineral sunscreen that leaves your skin nice and hydrated, moisturized with a glowy finish. It is pricier though, and you might be thinking that the price is expensive for such a small tube, but packaging can sometimes be misleading. This tube makes it look really small, but it comes filled up to the very top, so it's actually 1.7 ounces or 50 milliliters. Just to show you guys what I mean, there's actually the same amount of sunscreen in here as in here. But if you're looking for a budget-friendly dupe for the Biossance sunscreen, you're in luck because, well, I think I finally found one. So I discovered that Pipette makes one with almost the same ingredients. But is it just as sheer? Yes. It's pretty surprising because this actually has a higher SPF rating of 50 with broad spectrum protection, and there's 20% non-nano zinc oxide in here, giving you that good UVA and UVB protection. This also has hydrating glycerin and squalane for moisture and to lock that hydration in. It spreads really easily and leaves a nice glow, but you do have to spend some time to work it in for it to sheer out because it is a mineral sunscreen. Let's go see how it applies. So with this one, you have to really shake it before you use it, otherwise it separates. 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3. The texture of this is like a lotion. It's a little bit more toothpastey. It doesn't run down as much as the Biossance one, so it is a little bit thicker. 5 dots. It's really easy to spread, but it does feel a little bit thicker and almost a little bit oilier. It feels like the minerals and the oil kind of separated out. The formula doesn't feel as elegant cosmetically. It's going on super white, but it does sheer down. This definitely feels a little bit more like a traditional sunblock, so I don't love the texture, but you can see that it's already starting to sheer out. It's a little bit more forgiving than the Biossance one, and because the formula is similar, it can get stuck a little bit in your facial hair. It feels really moisturizing. I would guess they added more occlusives like the squalane. After it's had a little bit of time to absorb, it's really sheared out. I think there's only a really tiny hint of a white cast, but if you have a darker skin tone and you want to be absolutely sure that there is no white cast, then I'd go for a purely chemical sunscreen. It leaves your skin with a really nice, healthy, dewy glow. This is best for you if you've got dry or sensitive skin and you're looking for a budget-friendly sheer mineral sunscreen with a higher SPF rating. It leaves a really nice dewy glow, but it takes longer for it to absorb and it can feel a bit sticky in the beginning, so it's best if you have really dry skin. This has been one of my favorite sunscreens for a while now, and it's especially great if my skin is feeling dull or dehydrated from a night out, like last weekend for my friend's birthday. So you might remember that I first talked about this in a Get Ready With Me video back when I was visiting my best friend in New York City last year. My best friend actually took that sunscreen from me because he liked it so much, I was more than happy to give it to him. Then my neighbor was looking for a sunscreen and I told him to try this out, and of course he liked it so much I ended up giving him one too. I think this is either my 5th or 6th tube in just over a year. I use a lot of sunscreen. By the way, they just announced a major change to the packaging design, so even though it might look different, it's still the same formula. I feel like I kind of like the old packaging better, but maybe it's just because I'm used to it. What do you guys think? This has an SPF of 50+ with a PA++++ rating. And yes, they have posted their lab results online, so you can go and see that. This does have some newer generation sunscreen agents like Tinabsorb S and M, which helps to protect from a broad range of UVA and UVB rays. Even though it's technically not a fully chemical sunscreen, it is pretty close, so it doesn't leave a white cast, and it also doesn't irritate my sensitive skin. But it's not reef safe, so this is more of an everyday sunscreen. I really like it because it applies so well and has a really nice watery gel texture. If you're looking for a sunscreen that gives you a lit from within glow, this is great because it's got 8 different types of hyaluronic acid, which is very hydrating and great for dehydrated skin. Plus, it's got soothing niacinamide, ceramides to help support your skin's moisture barrier, and Centella asiatica for an antioxidant boost. Let's go see how it applies. 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3. The texture of this is very lightweight. It's like a watery lotion. This is super easy to spread, and it just feels like a moisturizer. It has no chemical smell to it. It feels so hydrating, and it's really easy to spread. It absorbs super quickly. It's very forgiving to apply, and it takes only a few seconds. You don't need to really work it in, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything at all. It works really well under makeup. I love that this one has no white cast. It dries completely clear. It doesn't sting my skin at all, and it just leaves a really nice, dewy finish, kind of like a lit from within glow that is really subtle. This is best for you if you're looking for a sunscreen that's hydrating and has a nice lightweight finish that isn't greasy and doesn't leave a white cast. Oh, and it's also cruelty-free. This sunscreen is great if you're looking for something sweat and water resistant for 80 minutes. It's got an SPF of 60 with broad spectrum protection. Plus, it's reef safe, so it would be perfect to take on vacation with you to help protect you when you're out swimming. Just don't forget to reapply a lot more often if you're out in the water, like every 30 minutes if you can. I know that sounds like a lot, but sunscreens are water resistant, not waterproof. The active ingredient is a whopping 24% non-nano zinc oxide, but somehow this still dries out sheer. This is great if you have drier sensitive skin because it's got a triple ceramide complex to help replenish moisture as well as support your skin moisture barrier. It's also got a ton of other really moisturizing ingredients like candelilla wax and sunflower seed wax to help soften your skin. But they really do go overboard on the moisturizing ingredients, so it's best if you have dry skin and you're looking for a lot of moisture. If you have oily or combo skin, you should definitely skip it because it will probably feel too heavy for you. By the way, if you haven't heard of the company Kinship, they're super focused on sustainability, so the ingredients in this are all plant-based, and the tube packaging is made with 50% post-consumer recycled plastic. And did I forget to mention that it's also cruelty-free? Let me show you guys how it applies. 3 fingers again. 1, 2, 3. Here's a close-up of the texture. The consistency is a little bit thicker. It's a lot like a lotion. So immediately it feels very moisturizing, which is great if you have dry skin, obviously. This feels easy to spread. And again, in the beginning, you do look crazy and like a ghost. So you do have to spend a little bit of time to work it in, and you have to wait for it to absorb. Don't forget your neck. I always make sure that I do my upper lip. This one does settle into my eyebrow hairs a little bit, so if you do have a beard or stubble, then I would not recommend this one for you. So you can see it starting to shear out, but it feels a little bit sticky. This is also water resistant for up to 80 minutes. And because there's so many ceramides in here, I think it would be amazing if you swim in an outdoor pool. If you have short hair, don't forget the tops of your ears and the back of your neck. So after waiting a few minutes for it to absorb and dry down, it's not as heavy feeling, but it's still very moisturizing, but it's not as easy to wear. It's still a little bit sticky, so if you have long hair, you want to keep it away from your face, otherwise your hair might stick to it. As for the white cast, it's super sheer and my skin just looks super glowy without being overly greasy. And it has a really nice faint smell of vanilla. Kind of reminds me of cupcakes. This is best for you if you're looking for something for your dry, sensitive skin that you can take anywhere, for a run, going on vacation, or for just sweating it out walking around the heat and humidity of New York City in August. With any sunscreen, please don't forget to reapply every 2 hours. And since no sunscreen is perfect, be sure to use other types of sun protection like hats and long sleeves. Your future self will thank you. Thanks so much for watching. If this video was helpful, don't forget to give your girl a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you next week.